All right, you guys ready for this?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
1, 2, 3.
The reason that we've chosen as a leadership team and as a church to gather online starting this weekend, and we don't know exactly what the future will hold. We don't know what next weekend looks like. Wherever you're gathering this morning, you're gathering as the church. We are no less united just because we are not physically in the same place. We are the body of Christ.
Welcome to a really cool event that we get to do digitally, even though we can't gather in person.
We are called to love mercy, walk humbly, do justice.
Well, hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hello and welcome.
Welcome to Daily Bread.
We've been walking through the book of Ephesians together.
Welcome to the very first Church on the Move online Bible study.
I just want to thank you guys for everything that you did for me while I was incarcerated.
Welcome to our Good Friday service experience. He knows where you're at. He knows what you're going through, and He's with you in the middle of your suffering, in the middle of your difficulty. You may be knocked down. You are not knocked out.
Well, welcome everyone. We're so glad that you joined us here for our service at Church on the Move. We just want to say Merry Christmas or Merry Day After Christmas. I'm Lee. I got Priscilla on here with me. I got Sean on here with me. Two of my favorite people. Man, it's good to see you guys. I hope you had a great Christmas. For all of you who are tuning in, we're doing a real special and unique service this weekend. We're not meeting in any of our physical locations. We're all together here online. We got little kids and teenagers and moms and dads and grandparents, and we're all together enjoying the same service. We don't get to do that very often, so that's really cool. And I know that some of you, maybe you stumbled into this. Maybe it's kind of your first time to try the online church deal here right at the end of the year. We're glad that you're here. If you're new, we got a step that we want you to take, right, Priscilla?
We do. First of all, welcome to anyone who's joining us for the first time. We love inviting and meeting new people all the time, and we just want to say you have a place here at Church on the Move, and we want to invite you to be a part of this family, and we want to give you something special. It's not as special to me as some other people on this call, but it's a $5 Starbucks gift card just for saying thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you, and we don't want you to stay new. We want to invite you to be back with us every week as we gather as a church, but we're so glad you're here.
I know what it's like to be new. My wife and I, we came here some years ago, and we actually came because we enrolled our daughter into the school, and we started listening to the messages, and they were so life-giving that we said, okay, let's give it a try. And we walked in, and we're like, man, this place is big. And we didn't know anyone, but we've become family. And thank many of you who are watching. You helped us feel like family and become family here at Church and Move, and we want that for you. So don't just pass it by. Send new, get the free cup of coffee, but get involved. Hang out with us. We thank you for spending this time with us.
Sean, I'm so glad God brought you and your family to our church, man. You're a blessing to me and to a lot of people. We're going to have a fantastic service. We're going to worship a little bit. We're going to hear from our lead pastors, Whit and Heather. And, you probably don't want to hear any more from us. I mean, let's just jump into this really cool service. We're thrilled that you're here.
Where could I go, Lord, that you would not find me? Where could I hide that your eyes would not see me? What could I speak that your ears would not hear me? What could I do that your love would be kept from me? Ooh, 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 ooh. Where you are, the night will shine like day. Where could I go, Lord, that you would not find me? Where could I hide that your eyes would not see me? Oh, 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 oh. What could I speak that your ears would not hear me? What could I do that your love would be kept from me? Oh, 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 oh. Where you are, the darkness falls away. Where you are, the night will shine like day. Singing where you are. Oh, oh, oh. There I will be. Oh, oh, oh. Where you are. Oh, oh, oh. Where you are, the night will shine like day. Singing where you are. Oh, oh, oh. There I will be. Oh, oh, oh. Where you are. Oh, oh, oh. Where you are, the night will shine. Where you are, the night will shine. Where you are, the night will shine like day. Shine like day. Oh, shine like day.
Hey guys, what's up? This is so cool. We get to talk to our entire church family across all locations. I'm Jordan. I lead our Tulsa location, and we have all of our worship pastors here from all of our locations. Shane from Glenpool, what's up, man? Yeah, we got Micah, who leads our youth worship. We got Diana, who leads our Midtown campus. And
Hello.
this is Eric, who leads our VA campus. How was your guys' Christmas? What are some cool things that happened from your Christmas? Some great memories that happened from your Christmas with your families?
It was really good. Got to move back home, which was really fun. I bought a ring, got engaged.
What, dude?
I know.
That's exciting, man. Congrats. That's
You
been a
win.
big- That's awesome. You just said take that 2020. I mean, 2020 is the topic of all discussion right now, it seems, right? And no doubt it's been a year full of something, just a lot of hard, a lot of struggle. It's also cool just to kind of see that through that there's been a lot of good, there's been a lot of learning. Shane, I'll start with you. We can just kind of go around. What's been something from this year that you've learned that you feel like you've grown in?
It's been a year of change. As a team, we've learned through the change just to put our trust and our hope in God, just more than ever.
For us, it was in the beginning, I just missed being together. And that was the hardest thing about church. And then what I realized, and what so many people said through this season, so many pastors just said, church isn't the building. Church is our family. And however we get together to worship, that's what's important.
Yeah, I totally resonate with what you're saying, Eric. I feel like I sort of came to a new understanding of the unity within the church, even when we couldn't gather. Like when I was on one side of a camera leading worship, the same God was present with me there as when I was on the other side of the screen in my living room with my 2-year-old, running around screaming, or I was in the kitchen doing dishes, whatever. But the same presence of God was right there with me. And I don't know, just that presence being in each of us, it's a uniting thing that I don't think I really understood before this year. And that's been a really beautiful thing for me.
We just want to tell all of our church family, you guys, we love you. We are constantly thinking of you. We're constantly thinking of being with you, worshiping with you. We just want to tell you Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we cannot wait to see you in January. So God bless. We'll see you guys later.
Hey everyone, Adam Bush here from Kids on the Move. In fact, I'm in the Kids on the Move office right now. We just wrapped putting together the last service of 2020, which will air after this. I hope you'll stick around and check it out. 2020 has obviously been different for all of us. Kids on the Move is no exception. We had to learn at the beginning of the year how to put on services when we weren't meeting physically. And so if you were around, you know that we pivoted from the physical locations to putting our Kids on the Move services online, airing after our adult services every weekend, and then on demand on our YouTube channel. In fact, we expected that we would be able to serve the families of our churches. What we didn't expect is that we would be serving families of other churches as well. In fact, during this time, our YouTube channel has grown to nearly 40,000 subscribers. There are families and churches all over the world who are emailing in and just saying thank you to your church for the content that we can share with our families. And it's because of you. So I say thank you to you. One of the things that I'm so proud of in Kids on the Move is that we are part of a church that isn't afraid to tackle tough topics. We want to meet your family right where you are. And one of these topics came in our Father's Day service back in June. It's easy as a church to come in on Father's Day and say, let's celebrate Dad, make him a card, don't forget to let him take a nap today. But what is often missed is ministering to families who have lost a parent. And we took the opportunity to focus on that. In fact, I was able to share a story of how I lost my father, whom I loved just about 11 years ago, and how I walked through it with God and what God had to say to me and continues to say to me to this day. And so we thought, since we're looking back on the year, we'd take a moment to share this message that is special to Kids on the Move. Obviously, it's very special to me and to our church. So if you've got kids in the house, I invite you to grab them. Everybody get up on the couch. Or if you don't have kids, I invite you to stay, because I promise God has something to say to you as well. Here we go. All right, so typically I tell you funny stories, things about like me getting on top of a house and falling off, or like riding my bike, flying in the air and then landing poorly at best. But today I'm going to tell you a story that is pretty special to me because it is about my father, whom I love. Growing up, I really couldn't have asked for a better dad. He was just like so into encouraging me, hanging out with me, just spending tons of time with me. About 3 years after I was born, my dad became a children's minister. That's crazy, right? Because I'm one too. We would drive all over the country in this big van. We'd go to churches, and he'd set up a puppet stage, and we'd have these big family services. He'd tell stories and do fun magic tricks and teach kids and families about Jesus. Because we traveled everywhere, by the time I was 6, I had been to all the places. I went to the Grand Canyon, to the White House. I went to Disney World 1,000 times. My dad told me the story one time that because we stayed in so many hotels, that one time we passed this hotel called the Holiday Inn, and I yelled, "Dad, you passed our house." One of my favorite memories to think about is one day my dad said, "Hey,
our whole family is going to be on the Gospel Bill Show. The Gospel Bill Show, if you don't know it, was this super rad Western television show starring the gang of Dry Gulch. There was an awesome sheriff, Gospel Bill, and he had his friends like Nicodemus and Elmer Barnes, and then there were like bank robbers and bad guys and stuff. It was really cool. For the whole day, we got to be shooting the show. We were wearing Old West costumes, and we were acting with cameras and lights all facing us. Throughout my life, I had like these amazing moments like that with my dad. He taught me how to tell stories. He taught me how to teach kids like you. When I needed help on a school project, like a science project, or I needed advice, he was there. One time I woke up for school and he was just like, you know what? Today, son, we're skipping school and we're going to go see a movie. It's like me and him and my mom went and saw this movie called Five Goes West, which is so fun. And I remember like the next day, everybody was like, where were you yesterday? And I was just like, I was seeing a movie, like being real braggy about it. It was like super awesome. Another memory that I have of my father that is really special to me happened when I was about 5 years old. I remember I was going to bed and the phone rang. My dad picked it up and he paused and he put the phone down and he sat down on the couch and he grabbed a pillow and he just started crying into it. I went and asked my mom, what's going on? And she said, your dad's grandmother just passed away. And that moment is really special to me because my father was a big guy. And like in high school, he played like football. And in that moment, he wasn't afraid to just be really vulnerable with his emotions. Like a lot of guys would say that like crying or showing emotions like that would make you look weak. My dad didn't feel that way. He knew that being honest about the way that he felt was a real strength. And it's really helped me understand that as an adult. I think when I think about my father, the thing that I think about the most is how encouraging he was. I remember he would like hear me teach in like a kids class and he'd be like, you should do this like all over the place. You should call all these people and tell them that like you can teach because you're really good at it, son. About 10 years ago, I was driving to the church and I got a phone call and I didn't recognize the number and I almost didn't answer it. But when I did, it was a fireman on the other side of the line. And he said, Adam, this is Officer so-and-so, and I need you to come to your parents' house and be with your mom. And I drove up there, and my brother met me at the door, and he said, Dad's passed away. He had had a heart attack during the day and just went like that. This guy that I had shared all these memories with and who was so encouraging and really was a hero who taught me about Jesus, who led me to Christ, the man who prayed the believer's prayer that I pray with you guys all the time. He was gone. And I remember nights after he passed away, I would wake up in the middle of the night and I would kind of think that the whole thing was a dream and then realize it was real and then I wouldn't be able to go back to sleep. And previous to my dad passing away, if something had happened like that, if I was feeling anxious or scared or just at an unrest, I would call him and I would talk to him about what I was going through. And he would tell me what the Bible said, or he would give me wisdom or advice on how to handle that situation. I couldn't do that because he wasn't here anymore. And I remember one night I was feeling this and this verse came to my mind. It's found in Isaiah. Isaiah was a prophet who wrote this. He said, you will keep him in perfect peace, he whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. God will keep me in perfect peace when my mind is focused on my Heavenly Father. And I realized in that moment what God was doing for me by just bringing that verse and that scripture back to my mind is he was doing for me what my father couldn't because he wasn't there anymore. There's a verse that says, God will be a father to the fatherless. For the first time in my life, I found myself fatherless. And God was being my father. And I think whatever situation you're in, whether you've lost your dad like I have, or maybe your dad isn't around as much as you would like, or you don't live with him, or you call someone else your father, I think this story is a beautiful representation of how our Heavenly Father will be and wants to be a father to you. And that is my true story.
Hey, Church on the Move family, it's the Smiths from Glenpole.
Hey, CLTM family.
Just going to share a few of the ways that this year has been impactful for me.
What have you learned in 2020, Ella?
No, I don't. There has been some ups and there has been some downs, but through it all, we have stuck together as a family.
We had an opportunity to spend way more time together as a family than we have in the past, and it was actually a huge blessing. We realized that we like spending time together.
This is great. We've learned to be patient.
Yes.
My kids, young adults, they're college students, so we had the pleasure of really having a lot of time together as a family. We had dinner together. My kids actually cooked.
I'm so grateful for deeper connection with friends and family, picking up the phone to make that call that I generally would put off a day or 3 days or 6 months. Just that reprioritization of what's actually important.
I had no idea the way that I had relied on work as a distraction to spiritual growth. It was like a blind spot in me that never would have been fixed, that never would have been repaired had this pandemic be away from people thing never happened.
This year has been a year for us to walk close with a lot of people very dear to us that were going through a significant amount of suffering.
I lost my job during the start of the pandemic in March, and then I was jobless whenever I got married, which is crazy. I wouldn't recommend, but God is insane, and He provided the whole way through, and we were able to pay for everything. And I do have a job now, though, praise God.
What God did this year for us was He provided me with a job transfer from Chicago, Illinois to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
He has increased our faith in a way we have never experienced before.
You know, God is still being God. God is still blessing us. He's still showing Himself faithful to us. He's still loving us. And He's still just carrying us through and teaching us.
Don't panic. God has a plan for you. God is looking out for you, and God is taking care of you. So that's what I learned this year. Okay.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ethan and Sarah here. We're a couple of the pastors from Church on the Move, Broken Arrow, and I hope this has been a great holiday week for you. I hope that you've been able to just slow down and enjoy it. One of the things I love about this time that we get to have together like this is that we get to remember and reflect. And it's kind of been the joke, right, this week as we end the year. What a crazy ride that was, 2020, what a year. But I think it's important that we look back, not just at the crazy stuff, but also at the good stuff. And I love that there's been things that God has been doing. God never wastes anything, does He? That even in these moments that seem so strange and out of control and out of the ordinary, God's been doing really cool stuff in us as a church family, but also in us as individuals and as a family. And one of the things that has kept coming up over and over again for me personally has just been to sort of live with joy. It's really easy to lose your joy when things aren't going well, to be sort of out of it a little bit or just a little skeptical, maybe a little jaded. You get a little hardened because you're not sure what's coming around the corner, but really to live in that joy and to really enjoy the small things, the little things that are happening every day, not to miss any opportunity with our kids or with each other, with our friends. And this season, as we've ended the year, has really highlighted that, I think, for me to end that way. And I know that you were saying there's been kind of a word that's been jumping out to you.
Man, every time I'm in the Word reading, I feel like the word wholeheartedly just keeps popping up. I don't think I've ever noticed it before. And it's been challenging to me. Am I serving God wholeheartedly? Like Caleb and Joshua were blessed because they served the Lord wholeheartedly. And so I've just been challenged. Is my whole heart in this? Or am I holding anything back, especially as we finish this year? I want to finish strong.
Yeah. And I think that's such a good reminder, because when things are uncertain, there's a tendency to guard part of yourself and hold part of it back. And that's what I love about the way we end our year. We end it with a compassion offering, right? We end it with sort of a statement of faith that because we trust God, we're going to partner with him. We're going to step out in faith. We're going to give. We're going to be generous because we can bless others knowing that God's going to take care of us. That's a big step of faith. Part of the compassion offering that I love for us is that part of it this year in particular is going towards something that's near and dear to our hearts, which is the new Church on the Move Broken Arrow home, a new building. And if you didn't know, we've secured the location. We have the building itself, but right now we're in the process of preparing that. And so, in fact, I thought one of the things that would be cool to end the year is to jump in the car, run over to the new building, and show it to you. So if we can do that, let's take a second and go. So this is the brand new Church on the Move Broken Arrow location. So every great remodel project has a before and after. So welcome to the before. This used to be a Sky Fitness facility. So literally everything about it is going to get remodeled inside and out. If we were to leave everything as it is right now, we would have a fantastic sauna and steam facility over here to my right and some wonderful yoga rooms over here to my left. However, that doesn't really fit a church super well. So everything gets remodeled, and it'll kind of be divided into two sides. The adult worship spaces will be on one side, and we're really excited to be building a brand new home for our kids and students. We're really excited about the things that it's going to give us. The kids' play area, a place just for kids to feel like home, and then our special needs ministry for kids, which is something we don't have space for right now. We're going to be able to serve the families of Church on the Move Broken Arrow that just have kids that are in a little bit different phase of life and need very targeted ministry. So all of that is going to happen in what right now is a big open box, and we're so thankful for all of our partners, all the generosity to make this happen, because without that, it would just stay a big empty box and we wouldn't be able to pull any of it off. So obviously we are really excited about our new home for Church on the Move Broken Arrow, but here's the truth. Most of our compassion giving doesn't go toward Church on the Move projects. It goes toward organizations that are making a massive difference in our city, our country, and literally around the world. And so we wanted to take a second and we wanted you to hear from them so that you could see what your compassion giving is doing in action. In places that you and I would never be able to go personally, your giving is making a difference all over the world. So let's hear from them.
Hey Church on the Move, it's Brittany Stokes with Project Orphans, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for partnering with us in 2020. We were able to deliver 54,000 meals to kids in Uganda, Africa during the pandemic. And on top of that, when our church had to close its doors, your partnership allowed us to work with local radio stations to stream God's message and His hope. When the lockdown lifted, we had so many first-time visitors at our church giving their life to Christ. It was really incredible to see, and I want you to know we are so honored to serve on your behalf in the front lines in Uganda, Africa. We appreciate you guys, we love you, and we just wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Hey Church on the Move, we're Jack and Sherry Harris.
We are.
And we're so excited to talk to you today. 2020 has been a great year for Global Messengers. We've been feeding over 1,000 pastors' families for months. This week we had distributions feeding pastors in remote villages where COVID has devastated them. And every single day we're providing hot meals for 4 leper colonies, and we're committed to that through at least January.
And we did 16 wells this year. We didn't even get to go and dedicate all them, and we said, don't worry about that. Open them up and let the water go.
Yeah, altogether we've done about 112 wells right now. And we believe that every single day, over 500,000 people are drinking water from wells that you guys helped us do. Merry Christmas, Church on the Move.
Merry Christmas.
We love you guys.
Love you so much.
Hey, Church on the Move family. This is Protus Onyango with my lovely wife,
Jeniffer Onyango.
And we are the founders of Lanterns for Light Foundation. But Church on the Move family is the true parent founder of Lanterns for Light Foundation. And we want to take this golden opportunity to thank you. In 2020, Church on the Move family, through compassionate giving, we were able to feed over 70 families in Kenya during the pandemic, and we really and highly appreciate the giving, the love, and the chance just to let us be the feet of Jesus in Kenya. We want to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and see you in 2021. Thank you, and we love you.
You guys, every time I hear these stories, I'm just overwhelmed with this sense of satisfaction and meaning because of the church that I'm a part of. This is what our compassion offering season produces, is real difference in real people's lives around the world. And maybe you're not completely familiar with our compassion offering. It's a season at the end of our year where we decide to be generous and bring our resources to help other people, not to help ourselves. And over the last 3 years, over $7 million has left this church to make an impact in our communities and in our world. This year, we have our biggest goal yet, $3.25 million. And that may seem like a crazy number on the heels of 2020, but this has never been about what we could raise or what we could do. It's always been about what God could do through us. If you want to be a part of that, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. Our regular form of giving, just tithes and offerings, you can do that by taking out your phone and texting the word give to 23101. Just text the word give and an amount, and you can give ordinary or regular tithes and offerings. But if you want to give specifically to this season of compassion and of generosity, our compassion offering, just send the letters CO, that stands for compassion offering, to that same number, and you can give to this season as well. You know, some of you, I know that 2020 has been a challenge, and maybe your finances and your resources have been impacted. All we would ask you to do is prayerfully consider this between now and the end of the year. Whatever number God lays on your heart, and maybe it's nothing, and that's okay. But we believe whatever number God lays on your heart to give, that's what we're going to be able to use to make a dramatic difference in our world. And so we would encourage you to do that. We know that it may take all of next year to raise this much money because it's a big goal, but that's okay, because we know that God works through us when we are available to Him. He doesn't need our ability. All He asks for is our availability. So if you would, let's give together as our act of worship.
Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me what you speak. Here am I, I'm steeped in listening. Let it be with me what you speak. What you will, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. With every breath, every heart beat let, only ever, always, I say yes. Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me what you speak. Here am I, I'm steeped in listening. Let it be with me what you speak. What you will, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. With every breath, every heart beat let, only ever, always, I say yes. I say yes, yes. From your throne you said yes, to come to earth into our mess. Fully God, fully man, to dwell with us. So full of love you said yes, to the cross to die my death, and to the grave to raise to life, so I might live. still you do. My heart belongs to you. How could I not say yes? What you will, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. With every breath, every heartbeat left, only ever always. Oh, I say yes, Lord. I say yes, Lord. I say yes, Lord. I say yes, yes. I say yes, Lord. I say yes, Lord. I say yes, Lord. I say yes. Here am I, the servant of the Lord. Let it be with me what you speak.
Well, Merry Christmas, Church on the Move, from Heather and I and our family to yours. We hope that this Christmas season you experienced a little of the hope, the peace, the joy, the love that Advent is meant to bring, that Jesus is meant to bring. It's been obviously a heck of a year.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for all that you've done and what you've meant to us as a church.
Yeah. We've prayed for you. We know that so many of you have had different difficulties and challenges throughout the year for so many different reasons, but you have been in our prayers continually.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to 2021 and experience a new year with you. I think of Psalm 25 where it says, all the paths of the Lord are loving kindness and tender mercy. And I know that during this year that Jesus has walked with you and sustained you. It might not look like you thought it was going to look, but he has been with you by your side nonstop.
You know, as we kind of come to the close of 2020, and as we stand with eager expectation on the precipice of 2021 and a new season, I think that we can say that we're walking step by step with the Lord. I think about the verse Hebrews 11:8, which is a big verse for me. And I think it's such a pattern for how all of us follow the Lord. Hebrews 11:8 says this about Abraham. It says, by faith, Abraham, when called to go to a land he would later receive as his inheritance, he obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. God drew Abraham out of his family, drew him out of the land that he knew, and he called him into the unknown. And it says that Abraham obeyed and went, even though he didn't have any idea exactly where he was heading. And I think that's a perfect description of 2020, but I think that's a perfect description of following God, is that we're walking step by step by step. And although we don't know what 2021 will bring, and we don't know what unknown things are there, we know that wherever God is leading us is to a good place. And so our role is to faithfully follow him. That was the invitation of Jesus to the first disciples. Follow me. And that's why I have hope moving out of 2020 and into 2021. It's not that I just think 2021 is going to be a better year because it couldn't be any worse than this last year, but it's because I'm following Jesus. And as Psalm 23 tells us, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil because you are with me. We know he's leading us and guiding us. And that's our confidence. No matter what we see, no matter what we face, no matter what unknown things are ahead of us, our confidence is that our God is walking with us. And if we follow him, we know that he's leading us to a good place. So we're excited about 2021.
Yeah, we are. We're expectant, hands open, palms up to receive whatever this year is and the gifts that God gives us through this year.
Yeah. So we're praying for you. We're thankful for you. Thank you so much for your generosity and your support and your prayers. We know that so many of you, you've been praying for us. You've been just with us. And even though we can't be together with everybody every week, we still feel the love and support. And we just want to say thank you for being a part of this family. Thank you for being a part of our community. And we're excited for what God is going to do in January and getting this year kicked off. We love you guys. God bless.
Man, we are so glad that you joined with us today for this service. And, at some point in this service, some of you may have felt moved to take a step with Jesus. Maybe it's time to accept him as Savior for the very first time, or for some of you, it may be recommitting yourself, going into a new year and saying, I want to live my life more for Jesus than I did this previous year. Listen, we want to help you take that step. If you'll just take your phone and send the word NEXT to 23101, our team is ready to connect with you and help you take those steps that we believe lead to life for you and for your family. Will you do that? There's also people right there in the chat. If you'll just let them know that you're ready to make a decision, those people are ready to connect with you as well and help you see what your next step just might be. Now, what a great day. I don't want to finish this without inviting you to come back and be a part of what's happening at Church on the Move in January. If you're able to meet physically, all of our locations will be open. We'll be ready to receive you. We're going to kick off a brand new series that's going to help us get over the things that hold us back in life. We would love for you to join us at our Tulsa campus, our Glenpool campus, our Midtown campus, our Broken Arrow campus, and even online. Join us there. If you're not quite ready to meet in person, that's okay. We want you to be a part of what's going on. And so get connected with us. Hey, right after I'm done talking, we're going to kick into our Kids on the Move service, and we've kind of pulled a compilation together of all the great things that have happened with Kids on the Move throughout this year. It's kind of a best of, and I know your kids are going to enjoy it. In fact, you're even going to enjoy it too. There's a lot of good music, a lot of humor. It's fantastic, and we look closely at Jesus through the eyes of young people. And so, man, I hope you'll stick around for that. But now, kind of for our last service of the year, I want to pronounce a blessing over you and over your family. As we look with hope into the new year, would you just receive this blessing? We do at the end of all of our services. And so to finish out this year, receive this from our church to your family. Now, may the Lord bless and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Happy New Year, and stick around for Kids on the Move.